Even some low 80s around the lake tomorrow afternoon. We'll still be in the 70s on Friday, increasing clouds and a couple of showers possible by the afternoon. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Does your business provide coffee for employees or customers? Black Powder Coffee can supply you with fresh roasted coffee, a variety of daily signature blends including flavored coffees such as cinnamon roll and Kahlua and cream. We even have bourbon-infused coffee in collaboration with Southern Distilling Company. Visit blackpowdercoffee.com or stop by and see us at 261 Rolling Hill Road in Mooresville. Black Powder Coffee.
Well, hello everyone. Yes, it is me. It's me. We're back here on the scoreboard. Oh, I hope everybody's having a good day today. 844 Studio 4. Get you right here into the studio. Part of the show today. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about. College basketball, ACC tournament going on, high school basketball. We have state championship games coming up very soon. NASCAR going back to the concrete of Bristol in the spring. Oh, we love to see it. We really do. Oh, there's so much that I could talk about right now, just about things going on in the world of sports. NHL action, the Hurricanes played the team directly in front of them in the Metropolitan Division last night. We'll talk about that a little bit, as well as other things going on around the world of sports. You know, we're getting ever so close, and we are just creeping our way towards opening day in the MLB. Yes, it's getting here. It's going to be a little bit. Still a couple of weeks. We're looking at the end of March before we get things underway there, but baseball right around the corner. I know you're excited because I am definitely excited. 844 Studio 4. That'll get you here into the studio. We're going to start things the way we always do with the high school basketball scene. But we're also going to get right into college basketball. We didn't have too much time to talk about that on Monday. And then yesterday I was not here. I was MIA, as they say. So we didn't have a chance to talk about it yesterday. And then also I want to start getting to NASCAR for the weekend. NFL free agency. You know, it officially opened today. So even though we were getting deals and we were knowing how much people were going to be signing for, that was like the period in the NFL free agency where you can negotiate with people and come up with a contract, but you can't actually put pen to paper. It's, you know, the legal tampering window is what they call it. And I don't know how you tamper with something legally, but that's the period of time that we're in right now in the NFL. And, you know, there's a lot of good players still out there that have yet to be signed. So we'll talk about some of those, plus some of the big names that were off the market here. Couple of contracts. It looks like 3 contracts so far, totaling over $100 million. Woo! Woo! So we'll get to that. We will. Now, that's not guaranteed at signing. That's total dollars, including incentives. Because you got to remember, not all these contracts are completely guaranteed. So let's get to that high school basketball scene before we waste any more time here. Starting things out, same way we always do, we're going to talk about the men first, go from the 1 all the way to the 4A division. Then we'll talk about the ladies, 1 through 4A. Starting with the men down in the 1A bracket, we have a state championship game ready, and we are going to see that on Friday. Yes, the 1A state championship for the men's is on Friday. Coming out of the West Corvian Community, they took down the number 1 seed South Stokes 53-41 to advance to the championship game. And their opponent, another 1 seed, they're going to have to take down Wilson Prep handled Birdie High School really well, 62-46 to push them to a state championship game. That game is this Friday at 1 p.m. Moving on to the 2A schools. We haven't had a winner yet, but as of 6 o'clock, this game is live. It is happening right now, and you can watch this game, actually. So I'm just making sure all this information is correct. You may have to create an account, but if you go to the NCHSAA website and you click on some of these games, we'll look at the West, obviously, in 2A going on a little bit later. That's the 8 p.m. game. Reedsville, number 1, versus Salisbury, number 2. You can actually watch that game if you want through the website, through the link provided by the NCHSAA. So game number 1 today for 2A is the eastern side of things, Farmville Central versus Goldsboro. That is live right now. And then later on tonight at 8 o'clock, number 1 Reedsville taking on number 2 Salisbury. We have a championship game in the 3A bracket. Starting with the eastern side of things, 71st High School, number 4 seed, took down Westover High School, 63-44 to push them to a state championship game. And Hickory played Central Cabarrus, 2 teams that had not lost a single game for the entire season so far. Somebody had to lose going into this one, and unfortunately, Hickory High School, they have been eliminated from the playoffs. I know we have been covering them kind of just as the next closest thing to us who is still competing for one of those state championships. So Hickory, good run. Can't fault them for their run there. They had a great year. Central Cabarrus just played better and beat them 87-76 to go to the state championship game. That one also coming up on Friday at 8:30. And moving on to the 4A schools, the big schools. On the east side, number 1, New Hanover takes on number 2, Richmond. These games are coming up tomorrow. First game is the eastern side of things, the 6 o'clock game. And then at 8 o'clock, number 2, Lake Norman takes on number 5, North Mecklenburg. Lake Norman, pretty much the closest school that still has hope in the area that they can win a state title game. Like I said, that game, the regional game is tomorrow. State championship game scheduled for this coming Saturday. Looking over into the other side of things here on the women's bracket, in the 1A, we do have a championship game. East Columbus out of the East will take on Cherokee out of the West. Both of those teams, the 3 seed. Pretty interesting there, if you ask me, as 2 3 seeds make their way into a state championship game. In the 2A, we have a state champion. Yes, it has already been decided. The game is coming up on Saturday. The regional game was actually, one of them was competitive, the other one not so much. North Pitt beat Seaforth 70-45. That is a 1 taking down a 3. And then in the East, or in the West, I mean, the other ladies' school that we were talking about in the area that was kind of close, Lincoln Charter over there in Huntersville, 12 seed. They made a really good run getting to the regionals. Unfortunately, they could not get past East Burke, the 3 seed, as they lost 48-39. Now that championship game coming up on Saturday, North Pitt versus East Burke. And real quick before we head to our first commercial break of the day, 3A championship for women, Terry Sanford High School versus West Rowan. And we still got to wait for the 4A. It's either going to be Hoggard and Rollsville out of the East or Watauga and Charlotte Catholic out of the West. Don't go anywhere. We're back after this.
Keep it right here. We'll have more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg in just a moment from 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, a clear sky as we go through the rest of our Wednesday evening. Cooling off tonight, but only dropping back to around 50, so comfortably cool as we drop into the overnight hours. Our warmest day of the week and likely of the year so far on the way for our Thursday as we warm up to 80, even some low 80s around the lake tomorrow afternoon. We'll still be in the 70s on Friday, increasing clouds and a couple of showers possible by the afternoon. And that's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Happy St. Patty's Day! Plenty of fun and adventure happening around the entire area this weekend. Downtown Cornelius, downtown Mooresville, DeVos Day Vineyards in Troutman, and so much more. As always, we hope you have a fun and safe time celebrating. Summer camps are just around the corner. Check out some of the camps happening at Kane Center for the Arts, Pottery for Teens, Paint, Broadway Through the Ages, and many more. Kane Center for the Arts is offering week-long camps starting June 10th through August 9th. For more info and to register for any of the summer camps, visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Hey, coin collectors! This is your weekend too. The Statesville Coin and Currency Show at the Statesville Civic Center is this weekend, featuring over 60 tables of some of the finest coins around. For more info, contact Bill Brewer of Carolina Prospectors in Statesville. The Statesville Coin and Currency Show, Statesville Civic Center, March 16th and 17th. This Saturday, Eagle Rentals in Statesville is having their Customer Appreciation Day. Come out to Eagle Rentals from noon until 4 p.m. and enjoy some time that is sure to be fun for the whole family. 3435 East Broad Street in Statesville. Eagle Rentals Customer Appreciation Day this Saturday. MuralFest is back, April 25th through the 28th at Wilkes Community College, featuring nearly 100 performers, including Old Crow Medicine Show, Sam Bush, Turnpike Troubadours, the Teskey Brothers, Nickel Creek, and more. Tickets and information at muralfest.org. Listen each morning to Good Morning LKN for your chance to win tickets. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
Happening now at Randy Marion Ford Chevrolet in Statesville.
How about a new car, truck, or SUV? What a better way to start 2024 than at Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville. Randy Marion Ford Lincoln taking advantage of a special purchase of 2023 Mazda CX-30s. These are the carbon editions starting at $24,770. You pick the color. Here today, Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville, Randy Marion Ford Lincoln. We have got the king of price deal. Like always, 2024, come see them today.
Now more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Segment number 2 here on the Scoreboard. What a day it is. You can call me up at 844-STUDIO-4 if you want to be a part of the show. Call me up and chat with me. Talk about, well, maybe we'll talk some NCAA basketball. Maybe you want to talk some NASCAR, NFL free agency. Anyone? It's pretty big right now. Lots of contracts being signed. Panthers making some interesting moves. None of which I believe is going to put them in playoff contention next year. But we can always hope. 844-STUDIO-4 gets you right here into the home base. Part of the Scoreboard, anything you'd like to talk about. The ACC tournament is going on, and actually we had a few games today. But before we get to those, let's recap it because the first round started on Tuesday. Now, we weren't here yesterday to talk about that, so we got to go through these and recap them. Number 12, Notre Dame beat number 13, Georgia Tech. Number 10, NC State beat number 15, Louisville. And number 11, Boston College took down Miami, number 14. So today, some of those games and some of those teams that win were in action, actually. Starting with Virginia Tech and Florida State. Virginia Tech, the 8 seed, Florida State, the 9 seed, and Florida State gets it done 86-76, that game earlier on today. Also earlier today, Wake Forest, the 5 seed, took on Notre Dame, who won yesterday, and, well, Notre Dame's run ends. They fall to Wake 72-59. Now, the 2 other schools that played yesterday and won yesterday will be playing games in a little bit. First one starting at 7 o'clock, and then the next game at 9:30. Starting first is Syracuse 7 versus NC State, number 10. And then the night game, Clemson, the 6 seed, takes on Boston College. Now, the quarterfinals are tomorrow, which means that we already know some of the matchups, and we already know who we're waiting to fill in. So let's go over that real quick. Tomorrow for the ACC tournament, North Carolina, Florida State. That is a noon tip-off. Early game there. So make sure if you have a chance, put it on your phone, whether you're at work or something. I don't know. I'll find a way to put it on here. I know I'll be here doing things, but, there's a TV back there. Maybe we can find a way to make it work. 2:30. Game number 1, anyway, North Carolina, Florida State. Game number 1 is at noon. North Carolina, the 1 seed, Florida State, the 9 seed. Then at 2:30, we have Pitt, the 4 seed, taking on Wake Forest, the 5 seed. Duke and Virginia have the late games tomorrow, and we still don't know who their opponent is going to be. So Duke plays the winner of Syracuse and NC State. Virginia plays the winner of Clemson and Boston College. And then obviously we'll funnel in through there and we'll find us an ACC champion. Yeah. Not that it matters too much right now. I mean, a lot of these schools are already clinched, already in. Like, North Carolina's making the dance. Duke's making the dance. So they're just trying to win an ACC championship at this point. The real prize, in my opinion, the real prize, some people might think that the conference title is more important, but the real prize, the NCAA tournament, that's coming up. Sunday is Selection Sunday, and we will find a way here on WSIC to get you, the people, involved somehow, some way. We're working through it. We will figure that out. Some other things that went final earlier today. This one pretty recent. In the Big East tournament, Xavier beat Butler. BYU, the 20th ranked school in the country, beat UCF. St. Joseph's beat George Mason. Wichita State beat Rice. VCU beat Fordham. Fresno State took down Wyoming. Alabama A&M beat Alcorn State. And there's a few others there. USC winning against Washington. TCU over Oklahoma. And Temple over UTSA. Those are the games that have gone final. Now, there are games going on right now. San Jose State, Colorado State in the Mountain West Championship first round. Right now, Colorado State is up 70-61 against San Jose State. Also, Nichols and McNeese in the Southland tournament. McNeese up 57-40 early second quarter there. We got UCLA and Oregon State early first quarter there, or first half there. UCLA up 23-20, and one just tipping off recently in the MEAC tournament quarterfinals. Copen State and Norfolk State, 8-8 tie right now. We have some good ones still coming up later tonight. Like we already talked about in the ACC tournament, NC State's going to be taking on Syracuse. The Big 12, Kansas State and Texas, that'll be a big one, as well as Michigan and Penn State a little later on tonight. Not really your basketball programs, but still big name schools. Number 16 ranked team in the country, Kansas, in their second round match will take on Cincinnati in the Big 12 championship. So plenty of basketball for the next, I don't know, month or so as we get through March Madness. All of these conference championship, all of these conference tournaments going on this week. Sunday, the selection, and then we have the play-in games. And then I think Wednesday and Thursday, first round, Friday, Saturday, second round games. We're here. It's tournament time. It's one of the most exciting times of the year. I thought the tournament was just a little bit crazy last year. I'd like for it to be extremely crazy. I would like for us to go, why is there a 13 seed in the Final Four? Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something there? 13 seed in the Final Four. Yesterday, let's talk about some of the things that went on yesterday that wasn't ACC related, just to give you a good idea of the rest of the college basketball scene. Davidson was in action in the Atlantic 10 championship round number 1. They fell to Fordham 71-63. The Sun Belt was decided as well. Unfortunately, App State, they were not able to get it done. Best team, number 1 ranked team in the Sun Belt tournament going in, but James Madison caps it off, winning the ACC or the Sun Belt Conference. And they beat Arkansas State 91-71. Not a very competitive game there. 11 was the deficit at halftime, and they did not let off as they got later into the game. So unfortunately, it doesn't look like App State is going to be competing in the NCAA tournament this year. Maybe they'll get an invitation to the NIT. It would be nice. But I know what everybody is looking forward to when it comes to college basketball. Everybody just, get through this week, get through the conference championships. There's maybe some people want to see a Duke North Carolina rematch, especially after the terrible display of sportsmanship on both sides on the final game of the regular season. Yes, I'm still going with that. That is what I believe about it. But we're getting there, and we are quickly approaching it. It's going to be gone before we know it, and then we're going to be straight into baseball. Like, what else is left for you guys, right? Well, we got the Carolina Hurricanes. Hockey playoffs are coming up. That's going to be an adventure and a half with all of the teams that are making crazy runs at the end of the year, all the trades, the Vegas Golden Knights. Anyway, we're not at hockey yet. Coming up, though, in the next segment, we are going to talk NASCAR. Yes, we are going back to the concrete. Thank goodness. So for the first time in a while, the Food City 500 will not take place on dirt. That was a joke from the beginning. But instead, it'll take place on the concrete, which I think a majority of fans are excited for. So we'll have that from you. We'll also talk a little bit more about Phoenix. We'll hear from MRN and their minute recap, as well as maybe preview some of Bristol with some driver sound that we have. We might hear from a couple of drivers here before the end of this show. Don't go anywhere, though. Stay with me. We got a lot still going on in the world of sports. We're going to cover NASCAR and NFL free agency. We're going to get to NHL and NBA action if we have the time. There's just so many sports to squeeze into this final little bit of the show. We're halfway through, though. Got another half to go. 844-STUDIO-4, that'll get you into the studio. Be a part of the program. Don't go anywhere. We're back right after this.
More of Sports Director Joe Berg's The Scoreboard is coming up on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, a clear sky as we go through the rest of our Wednesday evening. Cooling off tonight, but only dropping back to around 50, so comfortably cool as we drop into the overnight hours. Our warmest day of the week and likely of the year so far on the way for our Thursday as we warm up to 80, even some low 80s around the lake tomorrow afternoon. We'll still be in the 70s on Friday, increasing clouds and a couple of showers possible by the afternoon. And that's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
The Statesville Family YMCA reminds you that older adults and those with chronic health conditions don't need to feel they must accept impaired balance and limited mobility. Build strength, improve balance, and gain confidence in your mobility through the Moving for Better Balance program. For questions and additional information, email C. Mullins at ymcanwnc.org.
I have diabetes. I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I have asthma. I'm at risk too.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Are you 60 plus and love to travel? Introducing the Senior Travel Discount Network, brought to you by Low Cost Airlines. Call us anytime, day or night, and save up to 75% on your airline and hotel reservations. We can help you save a ton of money to fly almost anywhere. We have inside discounts on over 500 airlines and 500,000 hotels worldwide. And when you call and mention the discount code 60 plus, we'll give you an extra free night with your qualified air and hotel reservation. Now you can get the best prices on air and hotel reservations with your phone. We make it easy and fast for you to save money and book a trip. Remember, call the Senior Travel Discount Network, mention the discount code 60+ for your free hotel night with your qualified reservation. Call now.
210-503-7591. 210-503-7.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No, no one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now, to learn more.
Call 800-239-8296. 800-239-8296. 800-239.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. TikTok lobbyists now have their eye on the U.S. Senate after the House today approved a measure that would ban TikTok in the U.S. unless its Chinese owner sells the video sharing app. Critics say the platform, used by 170 million Americans, poses a security threat. You can now buy Zepbound through Amazon. Drug maker Eli Lilly is partnering with the world's largest online retailer to expand its upstart effort, Lilly Direct, to sell its weight loss drugs directly to patients. You'll need to connect with doctors online. Then you can have the drugs delivered through digital pharmacies, which now include Amazon Pharmacy. Keurig is hoping to remove some of that guilt for tossing its plastic K-cups into the trash. It says it plans to introduce this fall the company's first compostable single-use pod made from a plant-based coating. Stocks finished the day mixed. The Dow was up a tenth, adding 38. The S&P lost a fraction, down 10. And the Nasdaq slipped 0.5%, losing 88. I'm Nancy Lyons, Bloomberg Radio.
The Scoreboard with Joe Berg continues now on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
everyone. We are back here on the scoreboard. It's another segment, second half of the show today. 2 segments to go. About 25 more minutes if you want to get any word in. 844 Studio 4. That gets you right here onto the scoreboard, part of the program. Talk about anything you possibly might want to talk about. Right now, we're going to get to the NASCAR world, though. So on Monday, when we came in here, the studio, everything was brand new, and we knew there were going to be some hiccups along the way. Man, I forgot the word for a hiccup. Well, I tried to play the race recap from Phoenix International on Sunday, where Christopher Bell pulled out his first victory of the year. And, well, the audio didn't go. Unfortunately, I had some problems getting the audio to work, but now I got it working. So here we go. Well, let's hear from MRN. That's who had the race on Sunday. This is the 1-minute race recap from MRN.
What a race, what a show here in stage number 1, and it's about to come to an end. Green and white checkered flag is in the air, and Tyler Reddick has scored his first stage win of 2024.
Green and white checkered flag, and Christopher Bell will win stage number 2.
Trouble down the back straightaway, one car spinning. It is Kyle Busch, and a bad day has just got worse. We have trouble. One car spins, but that's another machine. It is the car of Joey Logano. He just lost it on that lower line. Don't know if he had help.
We got a great battle for the race lead in turn 1.
Fast and furious up the front. Denny Hamlin gets loose. He makes contact with Tyler Reddick. He's trying to counter steer, can't do it, and he slides in front of a hard-charging field.
The race leader is Martin Truex Jr., and here he comes off the racetrack, headed for pit road. Race leader Truex hits 45 miles per hour. Christopher Bell flashes by on the backstretch and takes the lead. Up off of turn number 4, checkered flag will go in the air. Christopher Bell will win the Shriners Children's 500 at Phoenix Raceway.
Christopher Bell, your winner from Phoenix. Huge win. Okay, there's many reasons why this is a huge win. Number 1, it locks you into the playoffs early in the year. We've been talking about that pretty much for every single race we've had so far. We talked about it for Daytona, with William Byron. We talked about it at Atlanta, with Daniel Suarez, which was huge. Vegas, Kyle Larson, and now Phoenix. Christopher Bell punches his ticket to the playoffs, but this is a little bit more important because the last 2 years, Christopher Bell has been there at the end. He's been fighting for a championship, and he's had good cars at Phoenix. And we heard from him last week that the old package they had at short tracks, he felt like they were really good with it, and they were, but they changed things. And now you have to be good on another package. Well, Christopher Bell showed that his team is ready for that. They're up for the challenge. So when we get there in November, don't be surprised when everybody's talking about, hey, Christopher Bell won this race back in the spring. Can he get himself another champion? Or not another championship. Can he get himself a championship? Because he's clutch in that round of 8, and we know he's clutch in that round of 8. He won Martinsville to punch his ticket to the playoffs a couple of years ago. Last year he won, I forget which race he won to get into the playoffs, but he won to push himself into the championship 4. Obviously, we know what happened with Ryan Blaney, and he won Martinsville, and then he backs it up with the win at Phoenix. With the championship at Phoenix. Ross Chastain won that race. He finished 2nd. So when we get there in November, Christopher Bell, he's going to be a favorite because that championship race, it all comes down to one race. It's at Phoenix. And Christopher Bell proved he could be the guy. On another hand, this has nothing to do with anything at all. We had the Daytona 500. And the 500 stands for miles, in case you didn't know. 500 miles around Daytona. The Shriners Children 500 was not 500 miles. It was also not 500 laps. It was 500 kilometers? Huh? When did we start measuring these races in kilometers? And the Food City 500 coming up on Sunday is another 500. That track is a half mile. They're not going 500 miles. That'd be 1,000 laps. It's Food City 500 laps. There's 500 laps. It's only 250 miles. This has been a thing for a while. It just makes me mad for no reason at all. It's just like, come on, can we get a little consistency? I know it would have been weird to call it the Food City 250, because that just doesn't sound good. 500 sounds good. Halfway to 1,000, you know? It's an official number. Anyway, 844-STUDIO-4. That'll get you right here into the studio, part of the scoreboard. When we take a look at the driver standings, regular season standings in the NASCAR Cup Series right now, Ryan Blaney, the defending champion, is your leader by 10 points over Kyle Larson and Martin Truex Jr. Then we come to William Byron, Tyler Reddick, Ty Gibbs, Ross Chastain, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, and Daniel Suarez round out your top 10. Truex almost won that race on Sunday. He did. I mean, I could not believe he drove it back up to P7 to begin with. He pit from the lead. Nobody else pit with him. He went a lap down and on fresh tires drove himself back up to 7th. That is an accomplishment right there. I don't care that he didn't win. He went to 7th from pitting from the lead with nobody else, going a lap down, and drove it back up to 7th under green. That was impressive right there. Now, I know I chose a different Gibbs car to win the race. I thought Denny Hamlin was going to come out victorious, and you know what? I had a good shot at it. Denny had a decent race. It's just late in the race, you can't recover from a mistake. And getting loose under the 45 of Tyler Reddick, that was a mistake for Denny. Cost him the race. He very well could have won that race. I'm not sure if I'm going to sit here and tell you that Christopher Bell definitely had the fastest car last weekend, because I'm not sure. It was an interesting race. There were a lot of different leaders, a lot of lead changes, but Christopher Bell led it when it counted. So he gets the win. And now we come to the Food City 500 coming up on Sunday. Let's hear from Christopher Bell again. We've had 4 winners in 4 races so far this year. Some parity. Here's Christopher Bell on all of that.
Yeah, I mean, really, I think everyone in the industry knew going into the season, having Daytona and Atlanta back-to-back with the reconfiguration at Atlanta, that nobody knew, or they were going to be possibly 2 different unexpected winners, and Byron is definitely not an unexpected winner. And so we're 2 races in, and it's, you know, I think we're seeing a trend of who's going to be up front. And, yeah, so I don't think that we'll get there this year. And I think the races, you'll see the normal contenders start being up front more often.
And I think he's right about that. It's going to, as we get through the season, look, we don't go to another draft track. Well, we come to Talladega in a little bit in April, but after that, there's no more draft tracks until we get to Daytona right before the playoffs. So you're going to see those guys who run good consistently on a 1.5-mile track, on a 2-mile track, on a 1-mile track, start to come to the front. And don't forget, lots of road courses. Lots of road courses. We go back to Chicago this year. Yeah. So we got a lot of racing left to go. I don't think we get to 16 different winners, but we did have 4 winners in 4 races. So we're on track right now. We could have 26 winners. That'd be something. 26 winners in the NASCAR Cup Series season. It's never going to happen. Hey, one more segment. When we come back, we'll touch on the Carolina Hurricanes and the NBA on the other side of this break. Don't go anywhere. We're back right after this.
Keep it right here. We'll have more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg in just a moment from 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, a clear sky as we go through the rest of our Wednesday evening. Cooling off tonight, but only dropping back to around 50, so comfortably cool as we drop into the overnight hours. Our warmest day of the week and likely of the year so far on the way for our Thursday as we warm up to 80, even some low 80s around the lake tomorrow afternoon. We'll still be in the 70s on Friday, increasing clouds and a couple of showers possible by the afternoon. And that's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Happy St. Paddy's Day! Plenty of fun and adventure happening around the entire area this weekend. Downtown Cornelius, downtown Mooresville, DeVos State Vineyards in Troutman, and so much more. As always, we hope you have a fun and safe time celebrating. Summer camps are just around the corner. Check out some of the camps happening at Kane Center for the Arts, Pottery for Teens, Paint, 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 Broadway Through the Ages, and many more. Kane Center for the Arts is offering week-long camps starting June 10th through August 9th. For more info and to register for any of the summer camps, visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Hey, coin collectors! This is your weekend too. The Statesville Coin and Currency Show at the Statesville Civic Center is this weekend, featuring over 60 tables of some of the finest coins around. For more info, contact Bill Brewer of Carolina Prospectors in Statesville. The Statesville Coin and Currency Show, Statesville Civic Center, March 16th and 17th. This Saturday, Eagle Rentals in Statesville is having their Customer Appreciation Day. Come out to Eagle Rentals from noon until 4 p.m. and enjoy some time that is sure to be fun for the whole family. 3435 East Broad Street in Statesville. Eagle Rentals Customer Appreciation Day this Saturday. MerleFest is back, April 25th through the 28th at Wilkes Community College, featuring nearly 100 performers, including Old Crow Medicine Show, Sam Bush, Turnpike Troubadours, the Teskey Brothers, Nickel Creek, and more. Tickets and information at merlefest.org. Listen each morning to Good Morning LKN for your chance to win tickets. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
WSIC is your home for Cup Series action all season long. Don't miss this weekend's race, the Food City 500 from Bristol Motor Speedway. Sunday, March 17th at 2:30, right here on WSIC.
76 years strong, and we're still the one. WSIC. News. Talk. Now.
Now more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right. Final segment. We got about 11 minutes before we're out of here. So you better call me up and you better make it fast. 844-788-3464. That's my phone number right here. If you want to be a part of the program, call me up and we'll chat. You know who's not very happy right now? I'm sure about it, is the Carolina Hurricanes. Yeah. Let's talk about what happened last night. Well, the Carolina Hurricanes played the New York Rangers. The New York Rangers, as we have told you, they are the number one team in the Metropolitan Conference, right in front of the Hurricanes. Unfortunately for the Hurricanes, though, the Rangers, they came out victorious 1-0. It's not soccer. It's hockey. 1-0 game. The Rangers and Igor Shesterkin blanked the Carolina Hurricanes. It's a tough game, but there's some positives along with that, and I'm going to get into that. But first, let's take a call. We do have somebody calling into the studio here. Caller, you are on the Scoreboard. What do you got for me today?
Well, good evening, Joe Berg. How are you doing?
I'm doing just fine. How about yourself?
Good, good. Did you recover after that Tar Heel Duke game? Sound like you were a little worked up there Monday.
I was a little worked up because I got a little upset that a very good game was ruined by people just not being very nice to each other. That's really what it came down to.
Yeah. I think there was some bad things being said on both sides, and sometimes young people will act like that and not quite as mature as they should be. But the game itself, I thought, was pretty awesome from the Tar Heel perspective. To be leading from wire to wire, I think that's only like the fourth time that it ever happened inside Cameron Indoor Stadium, and it's always been done by the Tar Heels. And so it was, just very fulfilling, I guess, from a Tar Heel fan's point of view to beat them twice and on their own home court to win the ACC regular season outright. And got to get all my bragging points in there, but thought it was a great game.
It was, and they end up winning the ACC, number 1 seed in the ACC tournament here. Tomorrow, we talked about it. They're going to be taking on Florida State. That is a noon tip-off. It's going to be a good one. I do expect North Carolina to win it. Look, I'm pulling for a rematch of Duke, North Carolina, especially what we saw final game of the regular season. It's going to be 10 times more electric if it's for an ACC championship.
Yeah. I mean, they're definitely the two best teams in the league this year, obviously. But, Florida State, I mean, they've played Carolina tough. I think they've got a good team. They're just kind of up and down. So, anything can happen, I guess. Hopefully Carolina won't be on too much of a high after the big Duke win. They'll be ready to play ball, hopefully. But, that's why you play the games, right? If you work it out on paper all the time, then it'd always be in the favored teams, would be the one to always win. But so we'll see how it goes tomorrow. Looking forward to all these tournament games and just see what it holds. Hopefully the ACC can get 5 or 6 teams in there. They keep trashing how bad the ACC is. But really, I think it's a pretty good league. I'd put it right up there against, any of the other power conferences and let them have at it. I think they've kind of proved that over the last several years in the tournament. They have the best winning percentage. They have the most titles over the last, 15 seasons or something. The comparison is between all the leagues. So, I mean, they might not get as many teams in there, but they get results when they do get in. So,
yeah,
can't argue with that.
I agree. The ACC for basketball, it's a completely different conversation than when you're going with football. I look at it in basketball as the ACC and the Big East are your two powerhouses, really, in basketball. That's the way I see it, at least.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, yeah, definitely the Big East. I mean, if you put it together, over the last 20 years between the Big East teams, Villanova's won 2, UConn's got 3 or 4 in there during that time period.
We don't have to talk about Villanova. We don't have to talk about them.
Yeah.
We can move past that.
Is that a sore spot for you?
No, not for me. I'm thinking it's probably a sore spot for you.
No, yeah. I mean, hey, I respect teams that, they beat Carolina fair and square, and I hated to see it, but they both played a great game, and Chris Jenkins, I think was his name. He just hit a great shot there at the end. I mean, it was just, you're not going to win them all, but you hate it when it comes down to that at the very end and it doesn't quite go your way. But I mean, hey, kudos to Villanova. They've been really strong. UConn's been really strong. Tar Heels, Duke, Virginia had a really great year when they won the title. So to me, yeah, like I say, I mean, when it comes to basketball, those two are kind of up there at the top by themselves. And then, not really, I know not in football, that's always Big Ten and SEC pretty much that dominate that. But from the basketball side of things, anyway, it's to me, it's the ACC is still right up there and competing for titles as usual.
And yeah, I agree. And we'll be looking at it tomorrow. We'll be able to talk about that North Carolina, Florida State game tomorrow on the Scoreboard. So we'll be looking forward to covering that one and the rest of the ACC tournament on the way.
Yeah. So who's your picks for tomorrow? I missed your segment earlier. Sorry, I was with a customer. I tried to get it worked out, but I couldn't get back to you quick enough.
No worries. I think North Carolina is going to get it done tomorrow. I do. I'm kind of going with my heart on this one, just because I really want to see that Duke North Carolina rematch, because we're probably not going to get it in the tournament.
Yeah. What do you think about between Wake and Pitt? Who are you picking on that one?
Wake and Pitt, that's going to be a tough one. I'd love to see Wake win, though. I want to see as many North Carolina schools in the tournament as possible. I want to break all kinds of records for how many North Carolina schools are represented.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, wouldn't it? Yeah.
It would. Well, hey, appreciate your calls as always. I'll be tuned into that to that North Carolina Florida State game tomorrow, as well as the Pitt and Wake Forest game as well. So we'll have that one and we'll talk about it tomorrow for sure.
Definitely. All right, man. Well, have a good evening and go Tar Heels.
Go Tar Heels, and thanks for calling in as you always do. Reminder, that game, North Carolina, Florida State tomorrow, right around noon tip-off. So it's an early one. Set your alarms. I know you're not going to be asleep at that time, but just set a reminder or some kind of an alarm that says, hey, North Carolina's playing, because the Duke one, 7 o'clock. You'll be home by then, hanging out. I'll be off air by then, so you won't really have to listen to the radio anymore, that's for sure. Because you should be listening to this show every single day. Anyway, before we head off air, Carolina Hurricanes, as we were talking about, they lose to the New York Rangers, 1-0 shutout for Igor Shesterkin and the Rangers. When you look at the standings now, it's going to be a tougher path for Carolina, but they are not out of it just yet. 6 points behind the New York Rangers. Rangers have 90 points. The Hurricanes have 84. Behind the Hurricanes is the Philadelphia Flyers at 76 points. So pretty good cushion there. I wouldn't expect Philadelphia to run down Carolina, but it's going to be tough for Carolina to run down those New York Rangers. So they might not win the Metro, but they could definitely draw home ice in round number 1. Final couple of minutes here on the show today. Now, I looked at this earlier and I didn't see too much of crazy interest for you guys, but this day in sports history, let's go to 2020 because we're right around that time. March, the NCAA tournament was canceled around this time 4 years ago. Well, in 2020, on this day, 12 hours after the PGA Tour cancels its flagship event, the Players' Championship, Augusta National announced the postponement of the Masters to a date to be fixed because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Elite football in Britain, Wales, North Ireland, the Women's Super League, Scotland, England's European League, all suspended until at least April 3rd because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Those were on this day in 2020. And in 2022, after only a 40-day retirement, Tom Brady announced that he will come back to play one more season with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That was on this day only 2 years ago, but it is part of sports history. Thanks, everyone, as always, for tuning into the Scoreboard on this wonderful Wednesday. Tomorrow's going to be an interesting one. We're going to have more ACC tournament news to talk about. We'll preview NASCAR some more and see what's going on in the world of high school basketball. We'll get back to baseball. I promise we're going to get back to baseball. But we got to give the respect where respect is due to these high school basketball players who are going to be competing for a state championship. So tune in tomorrow for all of that good stuff right here on the Scoreboard. Thanks, everyone. See you tomorrow.